alarm on the bedside table does not beep. It hums, a low, rising vibration that I feel in my bones before I hear it with my ears. It is 3:30 in the morning. The world outside the window is pitch black, a heavy velvet curtain drawn tight against the glass. I slide my hand over the device and silence it before the second pulse can begin. I do not linger in the warmth of the sheets. To linger is to invite negotiation, and my mornings are not a democracy. They are a sequence of events, a chain of dominoes that falls the same way every single day. I swing my legs out of bed and place my feet on the hardwood floor. The wood is cool, grounding. It sends a signal up my spine that the rest cycle is complete. The operational cycle has begun. I move through the dark house by memory. I know exactly where the door frame is, where the hallway runner ends, and where the tiles of the bathroom begin. I do not turn on the lights. My eyes are already adjusting to the shadows, finding the grayscale outlines of the towel rack and the mirror. The water from the faucet runs cold, then lukewarm, then hot. I wash my face with a bar of unscented soap. The lather is thick and white in the dim light coming from the street lamp outside. I rinse, feeling the shock of the temperature tighten my skin, waking the nerves. I dry my face with a rough cotton towel, pressing the fabric into my eyes, erasing the last traces of sleep. Shaving is a tactile ritual. I use a safety razor, a single blade of chrome steel. I apply the cream in slow, circular motions with a badger hair brush, working it into a dense foam. The sound of the blade against the stubble is like sandpaper on wood, a rhythmic rasping. Scrape, rinse, tap. Scrape, rinse, tap. I run my hand over my jawline. Smooth, glass smooth. I walk to the closet in the spare room. This is my staging area. My uniform hangs on a dedicated rack, separated from my civilian clothes. The shirt is navy blue, a polyester and cotton blend that resists wrinkles, but I iron it anyway. I set up the ironing board and plug in the iron. I wait for the small orange light to turn off, indicating the heat is ready. The hiss of the steam is the first loud noise of the morning. I press the iron down on the sleeve. I move it with deliberate, heavy strokes. I am creating a crease so sharp it could cut paper. This is not vanity. It is presence. When I walk onto the block, my appearance dictates the atmosphere. A sloppy guard invites chaos. A pristine guard commands order without speaking a word. I press the collar. I press the pockets. I inspect the buttons. Every thread must be aligned. I dress slowly. First the socks, black wool, pulled up over the calf. Then the trousers, fastened with a sturdy hook and eye. Then the shirt. I button it from the bottom up. I step into my boots. They are black leather, polished to a mirror shine the night before. I tie the laces tight, pulling them until the leather creates a firm embrace around my ankles. I tuck the laces in. Nothing hangs loose. The belt is next. It is the heaviest part of the wardrobe. It is wide, thick leather, reinforced to carry weight. I thread it through the loops of my trousers. The sound of leather sliding against fabric is a soft SHHH. I buckle it. Then I begin to attach the equipment. The radio holster snaps into place on my left hip. The pouch for my latex gloves goes on the back. The key ring holder, a solid metal clip, goes on the right. I do not carry a weapon. On the row, we do not bring guns inside. My authority is my voice, my posture, and the keys. I pick up the keys from the dresser. They are not the work keys. Those stay at the facility. These are the car keys, but they have a similar weight. I check my pockets. ID card, wallet, a small black notebook, a pen. I move to the kitchen. The house is still silent. The refrigerator hums, a steady companion. I take a canister of coffee beans from the pantry. I measure out exactly 40 grams of beans. I pour them into the grinder. I hold the button down for 12 seconds. I know the sound of the grind, changing from coarse chunks to fine sand. I pour the water into the reservoir of the machine. While it brews, I pack my lunch. It is the same meal I have packed for 8 years. A turkey sandwich on whole wheat bread, wrapped tightly in wax paper. An apple, green and tart. A bottle of water. I place them into a small cooler. The coffee finishes with a gurgle. I pour it into a stainless steel travel mug. The steam rises, smelling of roasted nuts and dark chocolate. I screw the lid on tight, checking the seal. I drink a glass of cold water standing at the sink, rinsing the interior of my mouth. I check the clock on the microwave. It is 4:15. I am exactly on schedule. I pick up my cooler and my mug. I walk to the back door. I punch the code into the security alarm panel to disarm it. The keypad beeps a confirmation. I step out into the garage. The air is cold and still. I get into my car, a reliable sedan with gray interior. I place the mug in the holder and the cooler on the passenger seat. I turn the key. The engine catches immediately, settling into a low idle. I do not turn on the radio. I prefer the quiet. I back out of the driveway, the tires crunching softly on the gravel before hitting the smooth asphalt of the street. The drive is 45 minutes. The first 10 minutes are through the sleeping suburbs. The houses are dark shapes against the sky, their windows black squares. The streetlights cast pools of orange light that I glide through, one by one. Light, dark, light, dark. The rhythm is hypnotic. I merge onto the highway. There are very few cars. I see the red taillights of a semi truck half a mile ahead and the white headlights of a delivery van in my rearview mirror. We are the night shift, the early risers, the keepers of the infrastructure. I set the cruise control to exactly the speed limit. The car feels like it is floating, suspended on the road. The tires hum a constant note, a drone that vibrates gently through the steering wheel. I sip my coffee. It is hot and bitter, just right. The landscape changes as I leave the city limits. The concrete sound barriers and shopping centers give way to open fields and dense tree lines. The darkness here is deeper. The sky is a vast, starless expanse. I am driving into the void, moving away from the chaotic energy of the population centers and toward the isolated, controlled environment of the facility. I roll down the window an inch, the air rushing in smells of damp earth and pine needles. It is fresh and clean. I take a deep breath, filling my lungs, then roll the window back up, sealing the cabin. I see the facility before I arrive. It is a cluster of lights on the horizon, brighter than anything else for miles. It looks like a stadium or a small city. The sodium vapor lights wash everything in an amber glow. As I get closer, the details emerge. The high fences topped with razor wire that glint like silver thorns. The concrete watchtowers standing like silent sentinels. The massive, blocky shapes of the housing units. I turn off the highway and onto the access road. The surface changes here. It is smoother, maintained with federal precision. I approach the first checkpoint. A red stop sign stands illuminated by a floodlight. I bring the car to a complete halt. I roll down my window. The air here smells different. It smells of ozone and industrial cleaner. A guard steps out of the booth. I know him. It is Miller. He nods. I hold up my plastic ID card. He shines his flashlight on it, then on my face. The beam is bright, blinding for a second. "Good morning," he says. His voice is flat, professional. "Good morning," I reply. He waves me through. The heavy metal gate slides open on a motorized track. It rumbles, a deep mechanical growl. I drive through, and I watch in the rearview mirror as it slides shut behind me. I am inside the perimeter. I park in my assigned spot. It is the same spot I have used for 3 years. I turn off the engine. The silence rushes back in, ringing in my ears. I sit for a moment, finishing the last of my coffee. I take a breath, centering myself. I leave the civilian world in the car. The worries about bills, the leaky faucet at home, the news on the television, it all stays here, locked behind glass and steel. I step out. The wind is brisk. I grab my cooler. I walk toward the staff entrance. My boots strike the pavement with a solid, authoritative cadence. Click, click, click. The staff entrance is a heavy steel door with a small reinforced window. I swipe my ID card through the reader. The light turns green. The magnetic lock disengages with a loud clack. I pull the handle. The door is heavy. It requires intention to open. I step into the vestibule. It is bright inside. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting a stark, shadowless illumination. The floors are linoleum, waxed to a high sheen, reflecting the lights like a frozen lake. I walk to the metal detector. I place my keys, my belt, and my cooler on the conveyor belt. I walk through the archway. It remains silent. I collect my items on the other side. I put my belt back on. I feel the weight settle on my hips. It feels correct. It feels like armor. I walk down the long central corridor. It is wide enough to drive a truck through. The walls are painted a two-tone scheme, glossy white on the top, slate gray on the bottom. My reflection walks beside me in the polished glass of the control room windows. I pass other staff members, a nurse in blue scrubs, a maintenance worker in green. We exchange nods. No one speaks loudly. The acoustics of the hallway amplify every sound. So we have learned to move quietly. I reach the locker room. It smells of stale coffee and boot polish. I open my locker. The combination is a sequence of turns I can do with my eyes closed. Right 3, left 2, right 1. The lock pops open. I hang up my car keys. I take out my duty gear. First, the stab vest. It is a heavy Kevlar vest that goes under my shirt. I unbutton my shirt, slide the vest on, and fasten the Velcro straps across my ribs. Re-up stick. Re-up stick. It hugs my torso tight. It is a constant pressure, a reminder of where I am. I rebutton my shirt. I check my appearance in the small mirror, taped to the inside of the locker door. Perfect. I take my duty belt from the hook. This one holds the handcuffs, the pepper spray canister, and the heavy brass whistle. I swap it with my leather belt. The click of the buckle is sharp. I walk to the shift briefing room. It is 4:45. The night shift supervisor is there, along with the other officers coming on duty. We stand in rows. The briefing is short. Count is clear, the supervisor says. He reads a few notes from a clipboard. Maintenance is working on the ventilation in C block. Inmate Johnson has a medical appointment at 10:00 hours. Keep it quiet today. We nod. We are dismissed. I head toward the S unit. This is my post. Death row. It is the most secure part of the facility. To get there, I have to pass through 3 more gates. I approach the first internal gate. I press the button on the intercom. S unit, day shift, I say. The voice from central control crackles back. Copy that. The buzzer sounds, a harsh electric vibration that lasts for 3 seconds. The lock releases. I slide the gate open. It is heavy steel bars, painted gray. It rolls on a track that is greased and smooth. I step into the sally port, a small cage between 2 gates. The first gate slides shut behind me and locks. Clang. I am trapped in the box for a moment. This is the safety protocol. Only one gate opens at a time. I wait. I hear the pneumatic hiss of the second gate unlocking. It slides open. I step out into the corridor of the S unit. The atmosphere here is different from the rest of the prison. In the general population blocks, there is always noise. Shouting, televisions, the slap of playing cards. But here it is quiet. It is a library quiet, a church quiet. The inmates here are in single cells for 23 hours a day. I walk to the control bubble at the center of the unit. The night shift officer, a man named Henderson, is sitting in the chair. He looks tired. His eyes are red-rimmed. He sees me and smiles, a genuine expression of relief. "Morning," he says. "Morning," I reply. "How was the night?" "Quiet," he says. "Not a peep. The radiator in cell 12 is clanking a bit, but that is it." He stands up and unclips the master keys from his belt. This is the most important moment of the morning. The transfer of control. The keys are on a large steel ring. There are 6 of them. They are oversized, made of brass, with complex teeth. They are the only things that open the doors in this unit. I hold out my hand. He drops the keys into my palm. They are heavy, cold, and smooth from years of handling. The metal warms instantly against my skin. I clip them onto my belt holder. The weight pulls at my right side. I am now in charge of the unit. Henderson gathers his things. "Have a good one," he says. "Get some sleep," I tell him. He walks out. I hear the sally port gates open and close behind him. Buzz, clang, hiss, clang, then silence. I am alone in the bubble. I look out through the reinforced glass. The unit is a semicircle of cells, 2 tiers high. The lights are dimmed to a low setting, a soft blue night mode. I can see the shadows of the bars on the polished concrete floor. I sit down in the chair. It creaks softly. I adjust the height. I look at the monitors. 8 screens show me every corner of the unit. The showers, the exercise yard, the corridors. Nothing is moving. It is a still life painting of steel and concrete. I reach for the logbook. It is a large, bound ledger with lined pages. I pick up a black ballpoint pen. I check the digital clock on the wall. It is exactly 5 o'clock. I open the book to a fresh page. The paper is crisp. I press the pen to the paper. The ink flows smoothly. 0500, I write. Officer on duty. Count clear. Unit secure. I set the pen down. I lean back. I take a slow breath, smelling the floor wax and the faint, metallic scent of the ventilation system. The air conditioning hums a steady, white noise drone. It is a comforting sound, a sound of systems functioning perfectly. I look at the rows of cell doors. They are solid steel with small viewing windows. Behind them, 60 men are sleeping or awake, staring at the ceiling. It does not matter. They are secure. The walls are thick. The locks are engaged. I pick up my thermos and unscrew the lid. I pour a small cup of coffee. I wrap my hands around the warm ceramic. This is the best part of the day. The anticipation. The machine is running. The gears are meshed. I am the operator, and for now, everything is in its place. I watch the empty corridor. I listen to the hum. I wait for the day to begin. The transition from the administrative corridor to the housing unit is marked by the sound of air pressure. I stand before the heavy steel slider, waiting for the buzz. It comes, a low electrical hum that vibrates through the soles of my boots. I pull the door open. It glides on a well-greased track, heavy but balanced. I step through, and the door slides shut behind me with a definitive, solid thud that seals the atmosphere. The air inside the unit is different. It is cooler, scrubbed clean by industrial filtration systems, carrying the faint, sterile scent of floor wax and stainless steel polish. This is my domain for the next 8 hours. This is the pod. I approach the control picket, a glass-enclosed booth that serves as the nerve center of the unit. The officer I am relieving, a man named Miller, is already standing, his logbook closed. We do not need to speak much. The transfer of authority is a ritual of objects and postures. First, the equipment. I unclip my personal keys from my belt loop and place them in my bag. I will not need them here. Here, I need the heavy brass. Miller hands me the Folger Atom key ring. It is a formidable loop of steel, holding 5 distinct keys. The primary key is large, oversized, with deep teeth cut into the brass. It is heavy in the palm, a tool designed for leverage and durability. The brass has warmed from his handling. It will cool as I carry it. I clip the ring to the leather keeper on my duty belt. The weight settles against my right hip, a familiar anchor. Next is the body alarm, a small black box that clips to the front of my shirt. I press the test button. A singular red light blinks once. Silence is confirmed. Miller points to the logbook. I pick up the black ballpoint pen, checking the tip to ensure no dried ink impedes the flow. I write the date and the time. 600 hours. Officer on duty. All secure. My handwriting is precise. Block letters staying strictly within the blue lines. There is a profound satisfaction in the uniformity of the text. Miller nods, gathers his things, and leaves the bubble. I am alone in the glass box, looking out over the 2 tiers of cells. The unit is silent. It is a silence constructed of thick concrete and heavy metal. The lights are dimmed to the night setting. A soft amber glow that washes over the polished concrete floor of the day room. The floor is impeccable. It reflects the amber, lights like a dark, still lake. My first task is the initial security check. I step out of the bubble and lock the door behind me. The click of the latch is sharp and crisp. I begin on the bottom tier. The walk is a rhythmic exercise. My boots are made of soft rubber soles that absorb the impact, allowing me to move almost soundlessly. I walk with a measured pace, my hands clasped loosely behind my back. I approach cell 1. I do not look through the bars. There are no bars here. There are solid steel doors with a narrow, vertical window of reinforced glass. I unclip my flashlight, a machined aluminum cylinder with a textured grip that feels rough and secure against my skin. I hold it in an overhand grip. I step up to the window. I do not shine the light directly into the sleeper's face. That is amateur work. I shine it at the ceiling of the cell. The beam hits the white concrete and diffuses, filling the small room with a soft, indirect glow. I look for the rise and fall of a chest. I look for skin tone. I look for the position of the hands. The inmate is asleep, lying on his right side, the gray wool blanket pulled up to his shoulder. I see the rhythmic expansion of his rib cage. In and out, in and out. Satisfied, I release the pressure on the flashlight button, and the darkness returns to the cell. I move to cell 2. Step, 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 pause. The rhythm takes over. It is a flow state of observation. Light on. Check the breathing. Light off. Move on. There is a meditative quality to this. The world outside does not exist. There is only the concrete path, the heavy steel doors, and the verification of life. I am the clockwork mechanism that keeps this world turning. I reach the end of the bottom tier. I turn and walk the stairs to the upper tier. The stairs are steel grating. They do not clang. They are bolted tight. My boots make a dull, thudding sound on the metal treads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. I turn at the landing. 5 more steps. The view from the top tier changes the perspective. I can see the geometry of the unit. The lines are straight. The angles are true. The symmetry appeals to the part of my brain that craves order. I continue the check on the top tier. Cell 12, Cell 13, Cell 14. At cell 15, the inmate is awake. He is sitting on the edge of his bunk, reading a paperback book by the faint light coming from the gap under his door. I shine my light on the ceiling. He looks up, blinking slowly. He raises one hand, palm open, a universal sign of compliance and acknowledgement. I nod once. I release the light. I move on. The head count is perfect. Every soul is accounted for. Every lock is engaged. I return to the bubble. I sit in the ergonomic chair, the mesh backing supporting my spine. I look at the control panel. It is a board of buttons and lights. Every cell has a corresponding light. They are all green. Green means locked. Green means safe. I pick up the logbook again. 6:15. Head count completed. Count clear. I unscrew the top of my thermos. The steam rises, smelling of dark roast coffee. I pour a cup. The liquid is black and hot. I take a sip, letting the warmth spread through my chest. For the next 30 minutes, my job is simply to exist and to watch. I scan the monitors. There are 4 screens, cycling through various camera angles. The shower area, the exercise yard door, the sally port. The images are black and white, crisp and high definition. Nothing moves on the screens. The stillness is absolute. At 6:45, the rhythm changes. It is time for the morning meal. I hear the heavy clatter of the cart before I see it. The corridor door buzzes. The orderly, a trustee from a lower security unit, pushes the large stainless steel cart into the sally port. I press the button to open the inner door. The motor whirs and the heavy slider retracts. The cart is a marvel of institutional engineering. It is a heated, insulated box on heavy-duty caster wheels. It smells of oatmeal, toast, and hard-boiled eggs. The smell is not unpleasant. It is the smell of fuel. I step out to meet the orderly. We do not exchange pleasantries. He knows the routine. He backs the cart against the wall, sets the wheel brakes with a definitive click of his boot, and steps back to the designated yellow line painted on the floor. I approach the cart. The exterior steel is warm to the touch. I unlatch the door. Inside, the trays are stacked in perfect vertical columns. They are made of brown, insulated plastic, molded into compartments. The process of feeding is the most tactile part of the morning. It requires a specific sequence of movements to maintain safety. I load 5 trays onto a smaller, open rolling cart. I push the small cart to cell 1. This is the bean hole procedure. In the center of the solid steel door, at waist height, is a rectangular slot secured by a heavy lock. This is the only point of contact. I take the heavy brass key from my hip. I insert it into the slot lock. The mechanism is stiff, requiring a firm, deliberate twist. I feel the tumbler's catch. I rotate the key 180 degrees. I pull the heavy steel flap down. It forms a small shelf. I pick up a tray. It is warm and solid. I place it on the shelf and slide it forward. The plastic scrapes smoothly against the steel. Ciao, I say. My voice is flat, devoid of emotion. It is simply a notification. From the darkness of the cell, a pair of hands appears. They take the tray. The hands withdraw. I lift the steel flap. I push it closed. I turn the key. I hear the deadbolt slam home. I pull on the flap to verify it is locked. It does not budge. I move to cell 2. Unlock. Drop flap. Slide tray. Ciao, hands take. Lift flap. Lock. Verify. The repetition is hypnotic. My body learns the distance between the cells. My arm knows exactly how much force is needed to turn the key. My hip knows the swing of the belt. At cell 5, the inmate is standing at the door. I see his eyes through the vertical window. He is waiting. When I open the slot, he does not snatch the tray. He waits for me to release it fully. The exchange is professional. There is a strange intimacy in this transfer of sustenance, mediated by steel and procedure. We are two components in the same machine, functioning in silence. I finish the bottom tier. I reload the small cart for the top tier. Pushing the cart up the ramp requires a steady forward lean. The wheels hum on the anti-slip surface of the ramp. I reach the top landing and turn the cart. The process repeats. Unlock, slide, lock. There is a rhythm to the sounds. The jingle of the keys, the thud of the flap, the slide of plastic. It creates a percussive beat that marks the passage of time. I am not thinking about the past or the future. I am entirely focused on the angle of the key and the alignment of the tray. When the last tray is delivered to cell 30, I return the small cart to the lower level. The orderly is waiting on the yellow line. I nod to him. He unlocks the brakes on the main cart and pushes it out. I watch him enter the sally port. I close the inner door. I wait for the outer door to open and close. The unit is secure once more. Now the unit wakes up. I hear the sounds of plastic spoons scraping against plastic trays. I hear the faint sound of running water as a toilet is flushed. The silence has been replaced by the low-level hum of living. I return to the bubble and pick up the logbook. 700 hours. Meal service completed. All secure. I take a cleaning wipe from a dispenser. It smells of lemon and antiseptic. I wipe down the counter of the control board. I wipe down the arms of my chair. I wipe down the handset of the telephone. I like things clean. I like the surfaces to shine. I sit back and watch the monitors. The sun is beginning to rise outside, invisible to us in the windowless block. But I know it is happening because the shift commander calls over the intercom. Control to Unit 4, the voice crackles. Prepare for yard release, Group A. Copy, Control, I reply. This is the next phase of the flow. Movement. I look at my schedule board. Group A consists of cells 1, 3, and 5. They are compatible. They have earned recreation time. I put on my heavy leather gloves. They are black, tight-fitting, and lined with Kevlar. I pull the Velcro strap tight around my wrist. The gloves heighten my sense of touch, compressing my fingers, making me feel ready. I walk to the door of cell 1. I look through the window. The inmate is standing at the back of the cell, facing the wall, his hands behind his head. This is the protocol. He is ready. I insert the key into the door lock. This is a different mechanism than the food slot. It is a paracentric keyway, complex and heavy. I turn the key. The sound is a loud, mechanical clack-thunk as the heavy bolts retract. I do not open the door. I press a button on my belt that signals the control board. The door pops open 2 inches. Step back, I say. The inmate steps back towards the door, his hands still interlaced behind his head. I open the door fully. He steps out onto the tier. He stops. He waits. I move to cell 3. Unlock. Signal. Pop. Open. I move to cell 5. Unlock. Signal. Pop. Open. 3 men stand on the tier. They wear orange jumpsuits that are clean and pressed. They wear canvas slip-on shoes. They do not look at each other. They look at me. Walk, I say. They begin to walk towards the end of the tier, towards the recreation door. I walk behind them, maintaining a distance of exactly 6 feet. I am the shepherd. They are the flock. The sound of their canvas shoes is a soft, shuffling whisper against the concrete. My boots provide the bass line, a steady, authoritative cadence. We reach the recreation door. It leads to a small, high-walled concrete yard. The sky is visible through a heavy steel mesh roof. The air is fresh and cold. I unlock the yard door. They step through, one by one. They disperse into the small space. One walks to the pull-up bar. One begins to pace in circles. One simply stands and looks up at the slice of gray morning sky. I close the yard door. I lock it. I test the handle. It is solid. I look through the observation window. They are contained. They are safe. I am safe. I walk back to the bubble. The walk back is lighter. The unit feels emptier, though only 3 men are gone. I sit down. I check the time. 7:30. The morning has evaporated. The flow state has consumed 90 minutes in what felt like 10. I take the logbook. 7:30. Group A to yard. All secure. I pick up my coffee. It is still warm. I watch the monitors. I watch the lights on the board. Everything is green. Everything is in its place. There is a tool on the desk I have not used yet. It is the inventory checklist for the cleaning supplies. It is a laminated sheet. I pick up a dry erase marker. The cap makes a satisfying pop as I pull it off. I decide to inspect the janitor's closet. It is a small room next to the bubble. I unlock it. The smell of pine cleaner is strong and sharp. The mop bucket is yellow, sitting on 4 caster wheels. The mop head is white cotton, hanging upside down to dry. The broom is hung on a bracket. The dustpan is clipped to the broom. I touch the bristles of the broom. They are stiff and clean. I check the level of the blue cleaning fluid in the translucent jug. It is 3/4 full. I return to the desk. I check the box next to mop. I check the box next to broom. I check the box next to chemicals. The marker glides over the laminated plastic. The ink is dark and bold. I cap the marker. Snap. I sit back. I listen to the hum of the ventilation system. It is a white noise that blankets the mind, smoothing out the rough edges of thought. My hand rests on the polished formica of the desk. My other hand rests on the cool brass of the keys on my hip. I am a part of the architecture. I am as reliable as the steel, as consistent as the concrete. The radio on my shoulder chirps. Control to Unit 4. Nurse is en route for medication distribution. Copy, I say. I stand up. I adjust my belt. I feel the weight of the keys shift. I am ready. The rhythm continues. The flow is unbroken. I walk to the Sally Port door. I wait for the buzz. I wait for the click. I am the gatekeeper, and the day is just beginning. I watch the second hand on the wall clock sweep past the 12. It moves with a silent, sweeping motion, not a tick. Time here is fluid. It pours like syrup, thick and slow, but constant. I take a deep breath, filling my lungs with the filtered, conditioned air. I exhale slowly. My heart rate is slow. My hands are steady. This is the work, and I am good at it. I rest my hand on the door frame, feeling the cold, painted metal. I trace a small imperfection in the paint with my thumb. A tiny bubble of dried enamel. It is a microscopic detail in a macroscopic world of rigid order. The buzzer sounds. The lock disengages with a heavy metallic clunk. I pull the door open to welcome the nurse. "Good morning," I say. "Good morning," she replies. We begin. The cart rolls, The keys turn. The day flows on. The transition from the active count to the midday lull is not a sudden stop, but a gradual deceleration. It is the shifting of gears in a massive, well-oiled engine. At 1200 hours, the relief officer steps into the control bubble. I see him through the reinforced glass first, a silhouette against the monitors. I press the release button under the desk. The pneumatic hiss of the door seal breaking is sharp, followed by the heavy, rolling rumble of the steel slider retreating into the wall. Officer Miller nods to me. We do not need many words. We speak in the shorthand of the institution. All clear on the walk, I say. Count is solid. 2 maintenance requests filed for cell 4 and cell 9. Light bulbs. Miller accepts the clipboard. He scans the log, his eyes tracking the neat rows of my handwriting. He signs his initials at the bottom of the column, accepting custody of the tier. I unclip the heavy ring of block keys from my belt. The brass is warm from sitting against my hip. I hand them over. The metal clinks as they settle into his palm. It is a transfer of weight, both physical and metaphorical. For the next 45 minutes, the static and the silence of the row belong to him. I step out of the bubble. The air in the corridor leading to the administration wing feels different. It is less recycled, perhaps slightly warmer. The floor changes from the echoing polished concrete of the cell block to a dense, industrial tile that muffles the strike of my boots. I walk with a deliberate pace. There is no rushing here. Rushing invites error. Rushing implies an emergency, and my job is to ensure there are no emergencies. I reach the break room door. It is a standard solid wood door with a small, wire-reinforced window. I push it open. The room is empty, suspended in a state of perfectly preserved quiet. It smells of floor wax and stale coffee, a scent that is oddly comforting in its consistency. I move to my locker. The combination lock is cold under my thumb. I turn the dial. Right 3 turns to 10. Left 1 turn to 24. Right to 6. The shackle pops with a satisfying click. Inside, my personal items sit exactly where I left them. I retrieve my lunch box, a sturdy hard plastic container that has served me for 7 years. I sit at the small circular table in the corner. It is white laminate with a chrome edge. I sit facing the door. It is a habit that never leaves you. The need to see who enters, even in a secure zone. I unzip the lunchbox. The sound of the zipper is loud in the small room. A rough, tearing noise that signals the official start of my downtime. I unpack my meal with the same precision I apply to a cell search. The napkin is unfolded and smoothed flat against the table surface to create a placemat. The sandwich is wrapped in wax paper. I peel back the paper, revealing the layers of roast beef, cheddar, and lettuce on rye bread. I prepared this at 0500 hours this morning in my kitchen. The bread has softened slightly, absorbing the moisture of the ingredients. I take a bite. It is good, simple. I chew slowly, focusing on the texture. The sharp tang of the cheddar cuts through the savory heaviness of the beef. I am not just eating for fuel. I am grounding myself. In the high security block, my senses are tuned to threats, a shout, a smell of smoke, the clatter of metal. Here in the break room, I retune them to the mundane. The taste of rye, the coolness of the room. I have brought an apple as well, a large red apple with a thick skin. I pick it up, feeling its weight and smooth, waxy surface. I polish it against the sleeve of my uniform shirt, the fabric making a soft, sweeping sound against the fruit. When I bite into it, the crunch is resonant, vibrating through my jaw. It is a clean, organic sound, distinct from the mechanical noises of the prison. I reach for my thermos. I unscrew the cup from the top, then the inner stopper. Steam rises in a thin, twisting ribbon. The coffee is still hot, black and bitter. I pour it into the cup. The liquid is dark, almost opaque. I blow on the surface, watching the ripples spread outward to the rim. I take a sip. The heat spreads through my chest, chasing away the chill of the air conditioning. For 20 minutes, I do nothing but exist in this space. I stare at the vending machine across the room. The low hum of its cooling compressor is a steady, white noise drone. I watch the lights on the selection panel blink in a slow, rhythmic pattern. Red, red, green, red. It is hypnotic. My breathing slows. My shoulders drop an inch, releasing the tension held in the trapezius muscles. I do not look at my phone. I do not read a newspaper. I simply sit. This is the discipline of rest. To be completely present in the absence of duty is a skill. I listen to the building. Somewhere far off, I hear the dull thud of a heavy door closing, muted by layers of concrete and steel. It is a reminder of where I am, but it is distant enough to be ignored. When I have finished eating, I brush the crumbs from the table into my cupped hand and deposit them in the trash bin. I wipe the table with a paper towel and a spray of sanitizer. The mist settles on the laminate, smelling of lemon and alcohol. I wipe in circular motions, starting from the center and working my way out until the surface gleams under the fluorescent lights. I repack my lunchbox. I zip it shut. I place it back in the locker and snap the lock closed. I give the dial a spin to clear the tumblers. My break is not over, but the eating is done. Now comes the maintenance of the self. I walk to the small restroom attached to the break area. I wash my hands, with the pink industrial soap from the dispenser. It smells of almonds and grit. I scrub my hands for a full 30 seconds, working the lather into the cuticles and up to the wrists. I rinse with cold water, feeling the shock of the temperature tighten my skin. I look in the mirror. My uniform is crisp. The creases in the shirt are still sharp. I adjust my collar. I check my belt. I run my thumbs along the leather, checking the placement of my pouches. Radio holder, glove pouch, flashlight ring. Everything is secure. Everything is ready. I step back out into the break room and check the clock on the wall. It is 12:40 hours. 5 minutes remaining. I spend these last 5 minutes standing by the window. This window does not look outside. It looks into a narrow maintenance corridor. But through a high clear-story window in that corridor, a single shaft of natural afternoon light cuts through the gloom. I watch the dust motes dancing in that beam of sunlight. They swirl in slow, chaotic orbits, suspended in the golden air. It is a small piece of the outside world, a reminder that the sun is moving across the sky. That time is passing normally out there, even if it feels frozen in here. The minute hand on the wall clock clicks to the 9. 12:45. Break is over. I exit the break room. The transition back is immediate. As soon as the door closes behind me, my posture shifts. I am taller. My gait is heavier. I walk back down the tiled hallway, the sound of my boots becoming authoritative again. I reach the airlock to the death row block. I press the buzzer. The camera above the door swivels to focus on my face. There is a pause, then the buzz of the electric strike. I pull the door open and step into the small vestibule. The door clicks shut behind me. I am trapped in the box for a moment until the inner door releases. This is the airlock procedure. One door must be fully secured before the next can open. It is a rhythm of safety. Click, buzz, clack. The inner door slides open. The atmosphere of the block hits me. It is cooler here, and the silence is heavier. It is the silence of 50 men waiting. Officer Miller sees me approaching. He stands up, unclipping the keys. We repeat the ritual in reverse. I take the keys. I feel the familiar weight return to my belt. All quiet, Miller says. No movement. I nod. I sign the logbook, marking my return to duty at 12:50 hours. Miller leaves, the heavy door rolling shut behind him. I am alone in the bubble again. The afternoon shift on the row has a different texture than the morning. The morning is about waking up, cleaning, the activity of the count. The afternoon is about endurance. It is slower, the light filtering through the high security. Windows changes angle, stretching long, angular shadows across the polished floor of the tier. I sit at the desk. It is time for the afternoon log maintenance and equipment checks. This is the paperwork side of custody, the trail of ink that proves we were here, that we did our job. I open the main logbook. It is a large, bound ledger with numbered pages. The paper is thick and cream-colored. I take my black ballpoint pen. I test the tip on a scrap piece of paper to ensure the ink is flowing smoothly. It is. I begin to review the entries from the morning. I verify that every movement was recorded. The nurse's round at 0800. The chaplain's visit to cell 12 at 0930. The meal tray delivery at 1100. My handwriting is small and blocky. I ensure that the loops of my 8s are closed and that my 7s have a distinct crossbar. Legibility is a requirement. In a place where years blend together, the logbook is the only true record of time. I turn the page to the equipment inventory section. Every shift, we verify the location and condition of the emergency gear stored in the control bubble. I stand up and move to the secure cabinet behind the desk. I unlock it with a small silver key from my ring. Inside, the equipment is arranged on racks. First, the handcuffs. 3 pairs. I take each one out. The metal is cool and smooth. I check the chain links, pulling them taut to ensure there are no cracks or signs of stress. I depress the locking bar. It moves freely. I ratchet the cuffs closed. Click, 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 click. The sound is sharp and precise. I use the key to unlock them, feeling the mechanism spring open. I wipe them down with a cloth and hang them back on their hooks. Next, the restraint belt. It is heavy leather with a steel D-ring. I run my hand along the length of the belt, checking for cracks in the leather or loose stitching. It is supple and strong. The buckle is brass. I polish it briefly with the cloth until it catches the light. I check the pepper spray canister. I do not test it, of course, but I check the pressure gauge. The needle is firmly in the green zone. I check the expiration date printed on the bottom. It is valid for another 18 months. I place it back in its holster. Finally, the flashlight. It is a long, heavy baton-style light, black aluminum, with a knurled grip. I press the rubberized button on the tail cap. The beam hits the far wall of the bubble, a concentrated circle of brilliant white light. I adjust the focus ring, twisting it until the edges of the circle are razor sharp. I turn it off and place it on the desk. I return to the logbook. I record the inventory check. Restraints intact. Chemical agents charged. Lighting functional. Time 13-15 hours. I sit back. The chair creaks softly. I look out at the tier. The block is in a state of suspended animation. Most of the inmates are resting or reading. I can see a few pairs of hands holding books through the bars. I can see a pair of feet resting on a bunk. There is no sound from the cells. The only sound in the bubble is the hum of the computer fans and the slow, rhythmic ticking of the analog clock on the wall. Tick, tick, tick. I pick up a stack of inmate request forms that were collected during the morning shift. These are small slips of yellow paper. They are requests for library books, for medical appointments, for commissary items. My job is to sort them. I read the first one, Cell 3, requesting a replacement toothbrush. The bristles on the current one are worn flat. I take a stamp from the carousel on the desk. It is a rubber stamp with a wooden handle. I press it into the red ink pad, then press it firmly onto the paper. Approved. The sound of the stamp hitting the desk is a solid, dull thud. I place the slip in the outgoing tray. The next one, Cell 7, requesting a legal call. I check the schedule on the wall. His attorney is approved for contact. I stamp the paper. Approved. Thud. The rhythm is satisfying. Read. Verify. Stamp. Sort. It is a process of ordering chaos. Each request is a small piece of a life that I am managing. I am not a judge. I am a clerk of their existence. I handle the paper with care, aligning the edges of the stack perfectly. I reach for the radio on my shoulder to perform the hourly communication check. I depress the button. The plastic clicks. Control, this is Unit 4. Status check. There is a brief burst of static, then the dispatcher's voice, clear and calm. Unit 4, status is clear. Copy that, Control. Unit 4 clear. I release the button. The silence rushes back in to fill the space left by the voices. I look down at my boots. In the light of the afternoon, I can see a smudge of dust on the left toe. I open the bottom drawer of the desk and retrieve a small tin of black polish and a horsehair brush. I do not take the boots off. I prop my foot up on the rung of the chair. I dab the brush into the polish. I apply it to the leather in small, tight circles. The smell of the polish is sharp, chemical, and waxy. It is a scent I associate with readiness. I work the polish into the leather, watching the dull spot disappear, replaced by a deep, dark shine. I brush vigorously, the bristles making a fast, scuffing sound. S-H-H-H, 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 S-H-H-H. I switch to the soft cloth. I buff the toe until I can see the reflection of the overhead lights in the black curve of the boot. I repeat the process on the right foot. When I am finished, I put the kit away. My boots are impeccable. It matters. It shows that I am attentive. If I care about my boots, I care about the rules. If I care about the rules, the inmates know I am watching. I stand up and walk to the glass. I look down the long corridor of the tier. The shadows have lengthened. The beam of sunlight from the clerestory windows is moving across the floor, inch by inch. It highlights the texture of the concrete, the scratches in the paint, the microscopic dust of the prison. I place my hands behind my back, clasping my wrist. I stand at parade rest, watching. Nothing is happening. That is the victory. The machine is running smooth. The hull is intact. I take a deep breath, inhaling the conditioned air. I exhale slowly. I am ready for the next count. I am ready for the afternoon routine. I am present. I am the watcher in the quiet. The afternoon stretches out before me, a long, calm road of procedure and protocol, and I am content to walk it, one step, one check, one log entry at a time. The light inside the unit never truly changes, but the atmosphere does. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The shift is entering its final hour. The aggressive, bright energy of the midday meal and the recreation rotations has settled into a low, steady hum. The air conditioning system cycles on, pushing a draft of cool, filtered air through the vents above the tier. It is the sound of the building breathing. I stand at the desk at the head of the pod, my hands resting on the cool, laminate surface. My posture is relaxed but upright. I take a moment to survey the gallery. 2 tiers of cells, 12 on the bottom, 12 on the top. Every door is closed. Every heavy steel lock is engaged. The painted concrete floor shines under the fluorescent lights, reflecting the white bars like a mirror. It is clean. It is orderly. It is secure. I pick up the logbook. It is a heavy binder with a black hardcover, the corners worn soft from years of handling. I open it to the current date. The pages are a grid of times and observations, a paper trail of the day's routine. I uncap my pen. It is a reliable black ballpoint with a satisfying click mechanism. I press the tip to the paper. The ink flows smoothly, leaving a crisp, dark line. 1,600 hours. All inmates secured in cells. Count clear. Unit quiet. My handwriting is blocky and precise. I do not rush. Each letter is formed with intention. This log is the history of the day, the proof that the routine was followed, that the protocols were honored. I blow gently on the ink to ensure it is dry. Then I close the book. The heavy cover makes a muted thud against the stack of papers beneath it. It is time for the final walk. I step away from the desk. My boots are heavy, polished black leather. They strike the concrete floor with a rhythmic, solid cadence. Heel toe, heel toe. The sound echoes slightly in the cavernous space, a steady metronome marking the end of the shift. I walk the bottom tier first. I move from cell 1 to cell 2, keeping my pace slow. I do not look at the men inside as people, but as counts. I look for movement. I look for the rise and fall of a chest, a hand on a book, a figure seated at a desk. At cell 4, I see a shadow moving. I pause. The inmate is folding a blanket. He places it at the foot of his bunk. I nod to myself. I move on. I reach the end of the bottom tier and turn to the metal stairs. My hand grips the steel railing. It is smooth, painted a thick industrial gray. I pull myself up the steps. 1, 2, 3. My boots clang softly against the metal grates of the stairs. I reach the top landing. The view from here is comprehensive. I can see the tops of the tables in the common area below, the shine of the waxed floor, the geometry of the space. I walk the top tier. The routine is the same. Check the window. Verify the presence of the occupant. Check the lock mechanism. I run my fingers over the housing of the lock on cell 18. It is cold and solid. The red indicator strip is visible, confirming the bolt is thrown. Secure. I reach the end of the top tier and turn back. The walk back to the desk is lighter. The responsibility is slowly lifting. I have verified the count. The numbers match. The building is holding. I descend the stairs, the metal vibrating slightly under my weight. I return to the desk and sit down. I check the monitor screens. The cameras cycle through their views. The sally port, the recreation yard, the shower block. Everything is still. The screens cast a faint blue glow on my hands. At 16:30, the heavy steel door at the front of the unit buzzes. It is a loud, mechanical sound, followed by the heavy clank of the tumblers disengaging. The door swings open. It is the relief officer. He walks in, carrying his clear plastic bag with his lunch and his thermos. He looks fresh, his uniform pressed, his boots free of dust. We nod to each other. It is a silent acknowledgement of the transition. He sets his bag down on the side table. We stand together at the desk. I step back, yielding the space to him. This is the handover ritual. I point to the logbook. Count is 24, I say. All present. Maintenance was here at 10:00 to fix the light in cell 7. It is done. No issues. He nods and steps up to the logbook. He checks my entry. He signs his name below mine, accepting the custody of the unit. The transfer of responsibility is complete. The weight of the 24 souls and the tons of concrete and steel shifts from my shoulders to his. I unclip the heavy set of unit keys from my belt. They jingle, a bright metallic sound. I hand them to him. He takes them and clips them to his belt. The sound is final. I am no longer the keeper of the keys. I pick up my personal bag. I walk toward the heavy door. The relief officer presses the button on the console. The buzzer sounds. The lock clanks. I push the door open. It is heavy, requiring a firm lean of the shoulder. I step into the corridor. The door swings shut behind me and locks with a resounding boom that vibrates through the floor. I am in the corridor now. The air here is different, slightly warmer. I walk down the long, linoleum-tiled hallway. The lights are evenly spaced, casting no shadows. I pass other officers coming on shift. We exchange brief nods, a silent fraternity of the rotation. I reach the central control bubble. It is a glass-enclosed fortress in the center of the facility. I approach the window. I slide my radio off my belt. It is a heavy, black brick of plastic and rubber. I place it in the charging cradle on the counter. The light on the charger turns from green to red. I am offline. I continue toward the exit. The journey out is a series of airlocks. I stand before the first gate. It is a wall of bars. I wait. The camera above pans down to look at me. The operator in central control verifies my identity. There is a pneumatic hiss, loud and sharp, like a truck brake releasing. The gate slides open on its track, a smooth, rolling rumble. I step into the entrapment area. The gate slides shut behind me. Hiss, clank. I am locked in a small square of space. I wait for the second gate to cycle. The interlock system ensures only one door is open at a time. The second gate hisses. It rolls open. I step through. I am in the administration building now. The floor changes from tile to low-pile carpet. The acoustics dampen. It is quieter here, more like an office than a fortress. I walk past the time clock. I take my badge from my pocket. I swipe it across the reader. A small beep confirms my departure. 16:45. The shift is officially over. I push through the double glass doors and step outside. The sensation is immediate. The air is real. It is late afternoon, and the sun is beginning its descent, casting long, golden shadows across the parking lot. The light is not fluorescent. It is warm and organic. I take a deep breath. The air smells of asphalt, pine trees, and distant cut grass. It does not smell of floor wax or industrial cleaner. I walk to my car. It is parked in the back row, facing the fence. My boots crunch on the gravel at the edge of the lot. I reach my vehicle. I unlock the door and pull the handle. The interior is warm from the sun. I slide into the driver's seat. The fabric is soft compared to the rigid office chair I sat in all day. I do not start the engine immediately. I sit for a moment in the silence of my own space. I close my eyes. I visualize the unit behind me. I visualize the walls, the gates, the count. I mentally place it all in a box and close the lid. I leave it there. It does not come home with me. I insert the key and turn the ignition. The engine catches with a smooth purr. I reverse out of the spot. I drive slowly toward the perimeter gate. I wave to the officer in the tower. He waves back. The final arm drops. I drive through. The drive home is a decompression chamber. I keep the radio off. I prefer the sound of the tires on the pavement and the wind rushing past the windows. I watch the landscape change. The high fences and razor wire give way to open fields. The fields give way to suburbs. The rigid geometry of the prison dissolves into the organic chaos of the world. I focus on the act of driving. My hands are at 10 and 2 on the wheel. I feel the texture of the leather wrap. I feel the vibration of the road. I signal for a turn. The indicator clicks. Tick-tock, tick-tock. I turn the wheel, feeling the weight of the car shift. It is a smooth, controlled motion. I arrive at my house. It is a small, sturdy structure with a porch and a green lawn. It looks welcoming. I pull into the driveway and turn off the engine. The silence returns, but it is a different kind of silence. It is peaceful, not watchful. I unlock my front door. The lock feels light and simple compared to the massive mechanisms I operated all day. A small key, a small turn, a small click. I step inside. The smell of home greets me. It is a blend of laundry detergent, old wood, and the lingering scent of morning coffee. I lock the door behind me. I hang my keys on the hook by the door. They settle with a gentle jingle. I head straight for the bedroom. It is time to shed the armor. I sit on the edge of the bed. I unlace my boots. I pull the laces loose, loop by loop, widening the opening. I pull my feet out. The relief is instant. My feet expand, breathing against the cool air. I place the boots in the closet, side by side, perfectly aligned. I stand up and unbuckle my belt. The heavy leather, weighed down by the pouches for gloves and cuffs, comes off. I coil it and place it on the shelf. I unbutton my uniform shirt. The fabric is stiff and starched. I peel it off and hang it up. I remove the white undershirt. I change into a pair of loose cotton sweatpants and a soft, worn t-shirt. The fabric feels incredibly light against my skin. There is no restriction, no collar pressing against my neck, no belt digging into my hips. I feel lighter, physically and mentally. I walk to the kitchen. I fill a kettle with water and place it on the stove. I listen to the sound of the flame catching, the low roar of the gas. I wait. The water begins to boil, a rising bubble of sound. I pour the water over a tea bag in a ceramic mug. The steam rises. carrying the scent of chamomile and honey. I take the mug to the living room. I sit on the couch. The cushions are soft and deep. I sink into them. I hold the warm mug in both hands, letting the heat seep into my palms. I sip the tea. It is hot and soothing. I stare out the window. The sun has set, and the sky is a deep, bruising purple. The streetlights are flickering on. I do not think about tomorrow. I do not think about the logbook or the count. I think about the warmth of the mug. I think about the softness of the rug under my bare feet. I think about the stillness of the house. I finish the tea. I wash the mug, the water warm and soapy on my hands. I dry it and place it in the cupboard. Every object in my home has its place, just as every object in the unit did. But here, the order is for comfort, not control. I move to the bathroom to brush my teeth. The bristles sound loud in the quiet house. I splash cold water on my face. I look in the mirror. My eyes are tired, but clear. I have done my job. I have kept the watch. And now the watch is over. I walk back to the bedroom. I pull back the covers of my bed. The sheets are cool cotton, white and crisp. I turn off the lamp. The room plunges into darkness, save for the sliver of moonlight coming through the blinds. I lie down. The mattress supports my back. I stretch out my legs. I let my arms fall to my sides. I feel the heavy pull of gravity. My body is sinking into the mattress, heavy and loose. I begin the final process of the day. I scan my body for tension. I start at my toes. I wiggle them, then let them go still. I feel the muscles in my calves relax. I let my thighs go heavy. I release the tension in my hips. I breathe in deeply through my nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hold it. I breathe out slowly through my mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel my chest rise and fall. The rhythm is slow and steady, like the tide. I relax my shoulders. I let them drop away from my ears. I relax my arms, feeling them sink into the mattress. I relax my hands, my fingers curling naturally. These hands have turned keys and written logs and opened gates. Now they do nothing. They simply rest. I relax my neck. I relax my jaw, unclamping my teeth. I smooth the skin on my forehead. I let my eyes rest heavy in their sockets. The silence of the house wraps around me like a blanket. There are no buzzing doors. There are no radios. There are no footsteps on steel. There is only the sound of my own breathing. In, out, in, out. My mind begins to drift. The images of the day soften and fade. The gray concrete walls dissolve into a soft, gray mist. The sharp lines of the fences blur. The world is no longer hard edges and bright lights. It is soft. It is dark. It is safe. I am safe. The house is locked. The world is outside. I am inside, in the warmth, in the quiet. The drift deepens. Thoughts become fragmented, floating away like leaves on a stream. I do not chase them. I let them go. A feeling of profound satisfaction washes over me. A day's work done well. A duty fulfilled. A rest earned. My breathing slows even further. My body is asleep before my mind is. The heaviness is total. I am anchored in the bed, warm and secure. The darkness is comforting. It is not an emptiness, but a presence. A soft velvet curtain drawn across the stage. The show is over. The lights are out. I sink deeper, down into the warmth, down into the quiet. The transition is seamless. One moment, I am aware of the pillow beneath my head. The next, I am floating, drifting, floating, sleeping,